Yes.
What are your views about the Canadian pension plan?
Well, Rick and I could both give you a long story on that. The Canadian pension plan is in crisis. We've gone from 5.5% to 9.9% over in the next 5 years that the people have to pay in. If you're under 45, you'd be much better off to take the money that you've put in and go into your own plan. It would be mandatory. You'd be forced to be in it, but you'd pick where you're going to invest and you'd have your own plan. That would be the way to go. If you're between 45 and 55, you're going to debate that one because it's a little less desirable because you have less time to handle your own. But it's expected that 75% would go out of it up to 55. Between 55 and 65, stay in the old plan. So that's the way you fix the Canada pension. You just have to bite the bullet. You have made a mistake. In 1966, when they promised us they would take care of us, they lied to us. We never should have believed government could take care of us, but we did. And they blew it. They threw it into general revenue. The money's gone, and our kids would have to pay about 15% probably, and kids are not going to pay 15%. And so our children and our grandchildren will never pay into that. We will privatize it one way or the other. The sooner we do it, the easier the pain. There will be pain. And otherwise, the government's just going to keep clawing it back, you know, so that anybody who has anything is going to get it clawed back. You're going to pay in for 40 years and get nothing at the end. It's just another tax. And when young people figure this one out, they are going to rebel against that Canada pension plan like you've never seen. And that's why Britain changed theirs. That's why Australia changed theirs. That's why New Zealand, Chile, Argentina, the U.S. are changing theirs in 2 years' time. Everybody's going out of this old socialist 1960 pension plan. It won't work. And the sooner Alberta would opt out of it and go our own way, the better we'd be too with the pension, if that's what we have to do. The best way, though, is to put a reform government into Ottawa. Then we change the whole country. Yeah. You know, in 1980, I was told what China was going to become. And I thought, sure, 50 years, 75 years, maybe, if everything works. They're where they said they would be, and even beyond. The most interesting part now is as they privatize every single business in China, they have areas where they have 20% unemployment, where they had none. Now, will those people be entrepreneurial enough to start their own businesses and work? They have a great work ethic. Will they do that, or will they riot in the streets? If they riot in the streets, then of course you could potentially have chaos. And with that many, you know, people, you could really have chaos. Oh, it's great. They have a wonderful education system. Yeah, they're very, yeah, everybody speaks English. All the young people speak English. They decreed that everyone would speak English back in about 1978. And the farmers out in the field had a book in their pocket, and they literally would have trucks go by with loudspeakers teaching English. You'd stop in the farm and you'd take out your reader and you'd learn some English. Everybody speaks English. Well, I'll tell you, they all speak English. English is a universal language now. But I don't know, like, can they make it? I think so. If they do, that'll be good times for us, because the market's there, and we got to work with them, you know, like to boycott them and to treat them, you know, as second-class citizens. We'll be the losers. I think, you know, I think they'll make it. But if Japan goes down, see, the Chinese are already talking about replacing Japan. Like, they see that coming very soon. They expect to have a $2 trillion economy. I think it's the year 2002. So they're going to, see, they've been growing for 17 years, they've been growing at over 12%. This year, they're planning 8%. So you see, they're still growing. Japan has been declining for 7 years. Japan's GDP has been going down for 7 years. So this just didn't happen. It's been happening. Yes? It's Hong Kong money, and it's Chinese money. Now, in China, there's $600 billion in the banks held by individuals. It's estimated there's 600 billion or more in the mattresses of China. They are savers like you wouldn't believe. They have the highest saving rate in the world. They have a $140 billion budget surplus, foreign surplus. They don't go into debt. So those buildings are all paid for with Chinese money. And they don't really want a lot of foreign money in there either. That's that one worry we have, is they like joint venturing, but they're hard dealers. You got to really deal with them. They want it to be on favor them. So they're not easy to deal with. They're hard businessmen. Once you have a deal, it's a deal. That's the only good thing that I could say about the business deals. In Russia, you sign the deal and walk away from the table and it's changed. In China, once you sign the deal, it's signed.
It's getting late, so I'm going to have to interrupt. Don't run away, Bob. I'd like to thank Bob for his speech. You've given us all something to think about, what Canada has to prepare for in the future and what some of the countries think of Canada. We've got a lot of good things that they think of us. Now we just have to fix the problems.
And now, just as a wrap-up, I'd like to ask Lee DeVore, who is the president of the Lethbridge constituency for the Reform Party, to come up with just a few comments and close the evening. Lee, if you would, please.
It's support from people like you that have made Lethbridge one of the top constituencies in the country, allowed us to put Rick Casson into the House of Parliament and, speak for a reform voice for Lethbridge. Unless Art has anything else to say, I guess that's it for the evening. Thank you very much for coming out.
When the only tool you own is a hammer, sooner or later everything starts to look like a nail. Well, I would suggest the federal Liberal government needs a new toolbox.
Folks, I would like to introduce the voting team that will be overseeing and facilitating debate and voting this weekend.
This amendment addresses the issue of policy making by unaccountable judges. It strikes the themes that this conference has been interested in: democracy, accountability, and federalism.
I've been asked to address the area of and the question of what about a brand new party? What about that particular alternative?
So I say I'm here to unite with others like-minded to liberate Canadians from excessive liberal taxation. How about you?